cards need to get banned in Master Duel. This is David with Geeks and Jocks. This is what this video is going to be about, and let's jump into the video. So these cards need to get banned in Master Duel, and we'll explain why. As a personal note, I do not believe that a lot of cards need to get banned. If it was not best of one, if it was like a best of three environment, I think that a lot of cards should not need to get banned. But since it's a best of one, you gotta take other things into consideration. And one of those things is that you cannot have an answer for every deck that is out there. Having said that, since we have to be working with a limited constraint of cards that we can put in our deck before it becomes really unplayable or unusable because of all the many bricks, then we need to take these cards out of the game. So if we go by Master Duel meta, the first deck that shows up is Tri-Brigade. Tri-Brigade needs some of the cards to be hit. We have Nerval, we have cards like Tanky, we have Revolt, that all are perfect candidates to get hit. If Revolt gets hit to 1, that will be really good. If Nerval gets hit to 1, that will be even better. But in reality, we need to hit Tanky. Why? Because Tanky, it's a card that helps out the Tri-Brigade Zodiac engine. And out of all the Tri-Brigade decks that are topping right now, this is the one that tops the most. Therefore, if you hit 2 engines with 1 card getting hit to 1, I think that this will be the best way to go. I really do believe that if you hinder this one deck, other decks can come up and have more diversity of decks, because people like to play other decks. Like myself, I am playing Thunder Dragons. It's not a meta deck. That is the main deck that I play or I played for this season. And like I said, if you hit one of the top decks, maybe this other rogue decks may come more viable and may position themselves even higher up the ladder. Now, having hit already the King of the Hill, then we can go to the second deck, which, believe it or not, is Adamancipator. Adamancipator has a very, very problematic card, and you already know what it is. It's Block Dragon. Block Dragon needs to get either banned or at least get hit to 1. Because all of the consistency of this deck has, this card is really unfair. Now, would I think that this card should be banned or limited to 1 if it was a best of 3? Maybe not so, but since it's a best of 1 environment, this makes it really, really consistent. And consistency is something that you shouldn't have, because it's just, obviously the data shows that it's just too consistent. So I think that Block Dragon should be either banned or at least put down to 1. Up next in number 3, we have Drytron. And for Drytron, you can also hit several cards that are very, very problematic. But one of the cards that needs to get hit, it's Ava. Right now, it's sitting at 3 copies, and this card should really get banned. Because, you know, the deck, it just becomes really unfair. If you draw your answers, Herald of Ultimateness is gonna be filled up with Ava, and you're not gonna be able to play anything. They should also hit Ben 10 to at least 1, and that one I have to admit is just kind of like a personal preference, because it makes the deck just too consistent and makes it where you can keep on playing and keep on playing. Even I remember I put this one player down to 1 card, and because of Benton and Ava, he went up to a full board and, you know, full hand. And it's kind of unfair in a best of 1 environment where you can, like I said, if you put a lot of cards in your deck that are very specific, then your deck becomes unplayable because it doesn't do what it wants to do. And whereas you need to be prepared, you shouldn't be prepared for every deck or every situation that is out there. Now, the other route we can take is that the deck is still playable if it doesn't have the heralds, and this may be another route. You can still play the deck, but it's not that unfair. When you have the Herald Perfection or Herald of Ultimateness and to fall back on, and then you just play your deck, and then your opponent can still play cards, because it becomes really, really frustrating when you do have the answer in hand. However, this deck is really loaded on patience, then you can't really do anything. It is still, like I said, in a best of 1 format. Now we do have the last deck, and this deck is the Eldritch. It's the last one that we're gonna talk about in like a deck environment. This deck becomes really unfair when it has 3 copies of Skill Drain. It becomes super oppressive. Even you can get rid of 1, then the player plays another one, and it's kind of like super hard to get rid of multiple copies of it. Obviously they wouldn't play them at the same time, but you know, they have them set or something like that. Like I said, this deck becomes really unfair when it's played with skill drain at 3. Maybe this card needs to go to 1 and maybe banned, but I think that will destroy effectively the playability of this deck, honestly. And what I really heard about Eldritch players is that the skill drain really means skill drain because this deck needs no skill to be played. Now, let's go to single cards that I do think should be banned. As of right now, I've only said that Ava should be banned. Everything else may need to go to 1 just because of the best of 1 environment. Some cards are really unfair, even in a best of 3. But these are cards that need to get banned. Not really just put to 1, or maybe they're already put to 1 or already limited, but they need to get banned. First of all, Union Carry needs to get banned. It just makes it really simple to bring out the Dragon Buster lock. Now, do I play Union Carry? Yes. Should I think it should be banned? Yes. Honestly, it's just a very unfair card, and it's really easy to bring out. So I think Union Carry should be banned, and I think a lot of other decks will appreciate it. It also helps in the Adamancipator deck. So you know, it really needs to really needs to go. Eater of Millions. That card should be legal, but DD Dynamite should not be legal. Honestly, DD Dynamite is just this deck is just a joke, and a lot of people are going up the ladder all the way to Platinum 1 with just this one deck. Yeah, they'll lose a bunch whenever the other deck doesn't have an extra deck, but you know, that's not very common. It's not very common to that the opponent has no extra deck, right? And since it's a best of 1 environment, I think DD Dynamite needs to go. Not precisely Eater of Millions, but I think DD Dynamite needs to go. Then this other card needs to get banned. I don't precisely think that it should be banned because it is played in Phantom Knights, but number 86 Heroic Champion Rongo Media needs to get banned. This card is really unfair. It's really easy to come out when you're playing Phantom Knights, and it just doesn't let you do anything for a long time, and it's a really big monster. So if it was, you know, something like Yatta where like it only had 300 attack points, well, yeah, you can wait, and you know, you wait your turns and it'll start losing effects. But this is not the case. So I think this card needs to go for the better of the game. Now this next card, a lot of people agree, it's Very Fun Dragon. I think that this card, Truking and All Calamities, needs to go. It's a best of 1 environment. At a best of 3 environment, I think it should be just limited to 1, because you can bring out 2, so this is not what you want to do. I know that this will effectively destroy Virtual World, and now I have 2 to get out of the ban list. Spicy takes that I do know that people are not gonna agree with me on one of them, but here it goes. So if Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer is coming out in the game, then I really do think that Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, I really think that Dragoon needs to be unbanned. Why? Because there's not any freaking decks that play Dragoon, so I think Dragoon needs to come out of the ban list. I do agree that in a best of 1 format, it's really oppressive, but it only has 1 negation and it's not that big of a monster. I do have a video saying how can you destroy Dragoon, and I'm gonna link it in the description of this video. So there's a lot of outs for Dragoon, whereas some of the other cards that are in the list are harder and easier to bring out. Then I think Gamma should go to 3. If you have Max C, this card needs to go to 3. I do not think that Max C needs to should get banned because it's a best of 1 format. I think that Max C should just go to 2. You really need Max C, because if not, you want to draw your outs, right? You want to make it an even playing field, so you need Max C to draw some outs when the other deck is obviously, especially someone in a bunch. So with this being said, this is it for today's video. What do you guys think? I do know you're not gonna agree with me. I do know a lot of people are gonna think that other are the problem, but this being said, I want to thank our sponsor Dex. It's linked in the description of this video. That's it for today's video, and I always want to invite you to comment, like, and share, and subscribe. That's it for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.